was gonna say that.
Rimfire Challenge has had a lot of different names over the years. First it was Ruger Rimfire Challenge, and then it was owned by the NSSF. They did a great job of giving it publicity and building it up. They understood its true mission. And now it's owned by RCSA, or Rimfire Challenge Shooting Association. A couple things have stayed consistent, however. It's a sport that has been designed in a way that anyone of any age, if you can stand and you can hold a gun, then you can participate. And more importantly, it's an incredible introduction into our Second Amendment rights, especially for people who haven't been educated on them or haven't had the opportunity to even practice them and understand them. It gets people shooting together outdoors.
Years back when Ken Jorgensen, the late Nelson Diamond, Tim Norris and I created the concept of a Rimfire Challenge Shooting Association, what we wanted was the big part of the funnel. If you think of the shooting sports as a funnel, we are really good at the part at the bottom. There's plenty of specialized shooting sports, but what was missing was a way to bring in new people, to bring in family, to bring in young people.
I was blown away about when I saw all the families, all the young shooters, the new shooters. This is the first time I've ever shot anything like this again, but I promise you one thing, I will be back next year.
She started shooting a BB gun at 3, and 15-22 at 5, and 9mm and everything by 6 and 7. And then a friend of mine, because I was posting videos, I recalled and said, "Hey, you guys shoot rimfire?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "You got a pistol and rifle?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, come on down to the range and we're doing a rimfire match."
Met up with some buddies at the gun club. We started shooting in competitions, and basically he said, "Hey, let's go shoot a match on the road." I'm like, "All right, road trip." And got to this match 6 years ago and saw what a family-friendly environment it was. I said, "I'm going to keep shooting this till my kiddos are old enough to do it." So Annabelle's here this year, and maybe next year we'll bring her little sister too.
Because I have 4 junior shooters, it allows us to do one sport together. We're not split across the city doing different sports and different practices. It allows my older children like Clara to coach her younger siblings and help them out and help them progress in the sport. So it's been a really nice fit for our family.
Our first experience with Rimfire Challenge as TANDEMKROSS was about 7 years ago. We went to a World Championships, talk about jumping into the fire. And when we first arrived, I guess what really stood out to me were all the families shooting together. How many sports can you name where you have the entire span of generations all playing together, competing together, having a great time, ages 6 to people in their 80s, shooting together? It was really something special. I knew we were onto something.
We've gotten like really close over these years, like going to matches and practices, and just he really pushes me like at practice and at matches like to do my best. Like he knows what my limits are and like he pushes me towards them. So that's like helped us, like our bond becomes stronger with each other.
Yeah, it's great. What better sport, you know, that you can partake in, and as a dad to spend so much time with your daughter, it's invaluable. Because I know how to shoot and I've been shooting for a while. This is just a natural transition, and she took to it and she likes it, so we just kept going, and we'll keep doing it as long as she likes it.
You spend more time with your family, with your kids. You travel with your kids, and it's a good avenue to teach our kids good morals, integrity, and for them to become a good person one day.
It's amazing how I've seen her grow in the maturity level and everything else. I think it's just great that you know, this is something for all kids, and she makes me very proud, and I'm very proud to say I'm her father.
One of the objections I hear for getting into Rimfire Challenge is typically safety. And ironically, it's one of the safest sports that I've ever witnessed. Because it's very new and youth competitor oriented, it's cleverly designed to be safe. When competitors come to the shooting table, they come with their gun bagged. And when they open the bag, the firearm must be facing downrange. When the competitors complete, the gun is checked for safety by, let's say, we'll call him a judge.
359. 359.
And at the whole time, you also have an audience of people watching every move. A lot of people worry about kids and firearms, and what I see is that Rimfire Challenge makes some of the most responsible and disciplined kids I've ever met. They are paying attention and trained to pay attention to their every action.
I think another big thing about coming out here and shooting at the range is the gun safety that we've all learned, because that is like a huge aspect to all of this. People are nervous to come to these things because guns, some people are scared of them. So once you learn the safety aspect of all of it, I think that's a big part of this as well, is learning all the gun safety rules, and that's a huge part. Yeah.
The other objection that I hear about getting into Rimfire Challenge is cost. People think that shooting is expensive. And that's the beauty of Rimfire. You know, it's designed to be inexpensive. If you take a sport like baseball and you buy your helmets and your bat and your glove and your baseballs and your cleats and your uniforms, by the time you're done, you're gonna be at the same cost, if not more. And the difference being is that Rimfire shooting is something the entire family can do. You can buy one gun and you can shoot a whole match together.
22's cheap. And that's an important consideration. When you say, I want to get involved in a shooting sport, we got to have a gun, you got to have ammunition, you got to have ancillary equipment. Well, you can break the bank really quickly. But with Rimfire Challenge, you're not going to.
You know, there's a myth out there that it's really an expensive sport to get into, and you know, it's really not. It's not any more expensive than another school activity as far as driving to different places and doing things. What we did is we basically started out with a pawn shop 22, and then we, you know, started adding to it and going to matches and getting prizes and meeting people that was trading things and selling things, and so we just kind of slowly built up our guns and things like that. And so we shared guns for a while, which was completely fun.
Something unique about Rimfire Challenge is how involved the industry gets with the community. You know, TANDEMKROSS, we've built our company on sponsoring shooters, sponsoring matches. I've been to matches where there were over $150,000 worth of donated prizes from these companies on the prize table. And these are prizes anyone can win. You don't have to finish first in Rimfire Challenge to have a shot at the good prizes. Every time I go to matches too, I'm seeing more and more of the industry get involved. Volkortsen. Practically every match over the last 2 years, I've seen some sort of presence from them, and they've been extremely generous with their prize table donations and support of matches. Hunters HD Gold. 3 or 4 years ago, it was not involved in the shooting community at all, and Brian has embraced the community and traveled to matches across all of the US. And by embracing that community, they've embraced his community, his company back, and they've grown tenfold. It doesn't stop there. Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Walther, Browning, Mossberg, Vortex Optics, Brownells, Permu Targets, Tactical Solutions, Shoot Steel, Steel Target Paint, Breakthrough Cleaners, Majestic Arms. I mean, I could go on and on. It's amazing how much the industry embraces the community. I have never seen a sport like this where the industry so closely hugs the community, and it's amazing what it's done for their businesses as well.
Got involved with the Rimfire Challenge back because of Michael Bain. Met him at the 2016 Rimfire Challenge back when it was in Alabama, and he told me about what they were doing and how they were going to build the sport and grow it. He wanted me to be a part of that, and I answered the call. Hunters HD Gold started off as a hunting lens that I created back 4.5 years ago, hence the name Hunters HD Gold. And after getting involved with a couple of local teams in Alabama, they kind of told the hunters, I'll be back with you later. I got some other people to go attend to that are seeing times come off their score.
Our first Rimfire match that we went to was held in Albuquerque back when it was still the Ruger Rimfire match. and we went just to kind of see what it was all about, and we were instantly hooked with not only the competition side, but the camaraderie you get between all the various shooters. And that's kind of the coolest thing that we've seen as it's grown, is there's families from all different states that this is kind of their meeting point for the year. They get together for dinner, their kids have become friends, their parents become friends. There's really no better way to spend time on the range.
Yeah, I think that sometimes a lot of Americans, they take their Second Amendment rights for granted. And my advice to you is don't do that. It's a very important right that really does protect all your other rights. It creates and keeps the balance between government and people. And that balance is so fragile and so important. And the number one way you can get involved with your Second Amendment rights and start to practice them is rimfire shooting. It's a great starting point.
I would just encourage everybody to at least come out and watch one RCSA Rimfire Challenge match. Learn what it's about, ask some questions. It's not an expensive sport to get into. You can go buy a stock 22 rifle and 22 pistol and come shoot a match and see how you like it and become involved with it.
Family is more important than it ever has been, and I think this is one of those things that if more people get involved in something along with their family like this, I think our world would be a better place.
If you're not into this kind of stuff, you know, I avoided it for years. Don't avoid it. It is amazing. There's novice shooters, there's great shooters, expert shooters, there's shooters of all ages, all shapes, sizes, and calibers. Get out here and try it for yourself.
It's just everybody, you know, is kind of coming together, like-minded, just helping each other, you know, just kind of building a foundation for people to have a place to go and compete and, you know, bring your family together, your friends, and just have fun. I mean, this is just, you know, exercising our Second Amendment rights, having fun, making noise.
Anything that you can do with your kids in today's world is a wonderful opportunity to help mold their future. We're living in uncertain times, so it's important that we educate them about our freedoms as Americans and that we help support their education and knowledge so that they understand this is a right that we have and we enjoy it together, and spending time together is what it's all about.
One of the biggest questions we get is, how does somebody get started, or are they good enough to go to a match? The simple answer to that is yes. The one thing you'll notice is the pro shooters or the top level shooters are so quick to help any new shooter. You know, they want to grow the sport. They want to bring new shooters in. They'll spend time, you know, giving tips, tricks, whatever they can do to make it an enjoyable experience. So I would say if you're on the fence, just do it.
I would like to personally invite you to come and try this out. You're welcome to reach out to any of us at TANDEMKROSS or any of the companies I've talked about before. They would all gladly embrace you and help you introduce you to the sport. It's good for your family, it's good for your community, it's good for your country, and it's good for your soul. Come shoot with us.
We want you to come shoot with us.